Best Irish music on irishradio.org with Jerry Byrne.
I'm Jerry Byrne, Irish Radio it is now. Since the onset of COVID and the lockdowns and all the rest of it, I've been speaking to many of the great and the good of Irish entertainment, and boy, what an incredible amount of great and good of Irish entertainment, singers, songwriters, performers that there are. I've got a gentleman now who's been involved in music for many, many years. A singer, a songwriter, performer and entertainer who was a busy, busy man, mainly on the social dancing scene. That was up until the shutdown and lockdown of COVID in last year. I'm delighted to say hello and welcome along to the one and only Peter Burke. Peter, how are you?
Thank you very much indeed, Jerry. I'm great altogether. Thanks so much.
Peter,
hang in there.
Hanging in there. Peter, listen, you've been a long, long time involved in music. When did it all start off?
I have indeed, Jerry. I'd say about 35 years ago, it was around 1985, I became a professional keyboard player with a group called Lucky Numbers. I was with them for 3.5 years, and we were doing the Irish circuit, playing more pop music at the time, and we'd go to maybe the National in Kilburn and the Archway on Holloway Road, and we'd go to Birmingham and Manchester and Liverpool. Then I started up my own group with 3 other guys, and we were doing the London Irish pub scene, and we were going over to the States as well, and over and back, a group called Aaron's Ghost. Some of your listeners around London might have remembered Aaron's Ghost. Then I joined up with a group that used to be known as Sean O'Dowd and Ding-a-Ling. When Sean left the band, they were called Fantasy. And then I was with Johnny Carroll for a while, and the Dixies show band. I was with them for 12 months, and a lot of other people I stood in along the way as well, a lot of the country groups and pop groups and all different things. And then about 20 years ago, I started doing a little bit of singing and writing, and I decided to do the one-man thing, solo gigs, and it was the best thing I ever did. I really enjoyed my time playing with the bands, but to go out on your own and to do what you're able to do, just do your best. And there was plenty of work out there, and thanks be to God, it has been extremely busy until the lockdown, and then sudden stop then, and that was the 13th of March last year, 2020, and sure, the rest is history. Everybody knows then, of course, that there's nothing much happening at the moment, unfortunately, but that's how it goes, Jerry.
Indeed it does, Peter. But listen, the other thing that's been a major part of your career has been the songwriting, and you've written some absolutely cracking songs, which many other people have gone on to record.
Yeah, I was very, very lucky, I suppose, really, Jerry. You know, a lot of the groups in Ireland, and some of them in England, and in the north of Ireland, and in Canada as well. Kevin Collins in Canada recorded some of my music, and the late Tom Healy, Johnny Barrett, Louise Morrissey, Teddy and Cathal Barry in County Waterford recorded, and Sean Wilson, and Limelight, and there's a lot more, Paddy O'Brien, and many, many more others as well. I was very lucky, I suppose. I mean, the songs, I consider them to be very simple songs, but when you hear other people singing your music, I think they bring out the best of the song. You know, when you have such wonderful artists as these people, I mean, it's lovely to hear it, and to hear it come together. And they you know, I'm very, very grateful, and it's always a great pleasure to hear people singing your own songs. You know, and it's a lovely feeling. It's just a passion for me to write songs. You wouldn't be thinking of it commercially. You'd be thinking of it as something, just a way of expressing yourself and playing music for fun, and writing the words and trying the songs at the gigs. And if they go down well, you record them or you pass them around to other people. So I can't complain. And no thanks. You know, I mean, like, it was just, you know, people were just wonderful really along the way. And Johnny Barrett's down in Cork as well. The late Johnny Barrett, local entertainer, passed away a few years ago. He recorded a lot of my stuff, so I was very, very lucky that way, Jerry. You know,
Peter, one of the songs that you wrote that was absolutely huge and incredibly successful over in London, and indeed a wider field, was a tribute that you did to the Galtymore.
Yes, Jerry. Well, it was a song that it was a tribute to my parents, I suppose, really, because my mother and my father met in the Galtymore back in the year 1963, and I was born in London myself. Actually, we came back to Ireland in 71, and my mum and dad met in the Galtymore, and I grew up in County Cork, and my parents were all the time telling me about the Galtymore. My dad, in particular, he was always talking about all the lads from Connemara, and Dad himself was from Clifton. My dad passed away sadly last April, but he was from Clifton. He met my mother from Mallow in the Galtymore. So I felt, as a tribute to both my parents and my own experience of playing there with bands, I decided to write the song. In fact, it actually made its way to an album that you brought out actually for charity one time called Jerry's Radio Favourites.
Yes. And
the Galtymore was on that.
It did. It went an absolute storm. I can tell you, Peter. It really did. And was it
very well?
It did. And a request. It was requested so many times when I was out doing road shows, and actually up until lockdown was frequently requested because it was the production was absolutely superb on it, as well indeed as the words and the story about the Galtymore.
No, I'm delighted to hear that, Jerry. I'm delighted to hear that. That it means something to some people, you know.
Indeed, it does. You've written all of the songs you've written. While you said earlier on, that they were simple songs, but they really have gone well. I mean, there's so many of them. In Patrick Feeney had a huge amount of success with the Listrin Varna song.
It did indeed. Yeah, that was. It got to number one on one of the polls over in England there one time, and did very well for Patrick. And I suppose I've been very, very lucky. I always try and write what would appeal to people, and sometimes it's fiction, sometimes it's factual. And I mean, Listrin Varna is a place everybody knows about, and I played there most years. From in the Rat Barn, I've been up there for a long time. I didn't do it last September because of COVID and everything else, but it was, Patrick did a fine job and a very, very good production as well on the record. So he did indeed. And I think he also recorded a Road That Never Ends, which was covered by a lot of bands out there as well. So
that's right.
Yeah, been very, 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 very happy.
I think the song that It's a Road That Never Ends has got to be one of your most recorded songs, because just so many people have recorded it. It's unbelievable.
Yeah, it's funny. It's been recorded all over the place. I think I have 13 versions of the song here from different artists, and all that's in it really is about 2 verses and a chorus. I mean, it couldn't be simpler. It wouldn't take a genius to write that kind of a song. So I was surprised and pleasantly surprised. And but then again, it's down to airplay as well, and people have been wonderful. The likes of yourself have been brilliant to play the music. And if you're not there to play the music, there is no point whatsoever in releasing music at all. So I think all the musicians, I'm speaking for all the musicians, all the writers, in saying that we really appreciate the airplay and the time we get on radio. It's very, very important to the industry, and we can't be thankful enough.
No, thank you indeed, Peter. It really is a pleasure. I'm just looking actually. I'm looking actually at the song "It's Road That Never Ends." I've got versions of it just shooting into the system briefly here. I've got Desi Hines, Pat McKenna, Patrick Feeney, Sean Wilson, the late Tom Healy, also a band over here, Blake in Brazil. That's just a little snapshot at the number of people who've recorded it. Really,
yes, and they all have their own. They all put their own stamp on it.
Indeed, yes.
They all put their own stamp on it. Actually, the late Tom Healy, Lord of Mercy, and Tom was a great friend to everybody in the music business. But he launched the album in Leamington Spa, and Tom was the kind of person you couldn't say no to. And I was playing in Wexford in Records on a Wednesday night, and I was playing near Mitchelstown on a Friday night. And Tom said, "We're launching on Thursday night in Leamington Spa." And I said, "Oh well, best of luck, Tom. I hope it goes well for you." "Hold on a minute now. Did you say you were off on Thursday night?" So I went straight after the gig in Records in Wexford, headed to Dublin Airport, went over, and we had a fantastic launch. It was really, really wonderful, and it was all over too soon. That's the only thing, because I had to hit the road again the following day and come back to play near Mitchelstown. But Tom Healy was one of the great gentlemen of the music business, and he's sorely missed. And,
Indeed.
All the trips abroad and everything. He did them all, and when you meet up with him, it was always a great friendship, great meeting, and it was always wonderful there's always something to look forward to.
Indeed.
We miss him dearly, and I know a lot of people in England will miss Tom Healy a lot, because he was so helpful to to everybody, and not a bad word to say for anyone, you know.
Indeed so. He was. Yes,
yeah.
He was one of the real nice guys and the really helpful guys to
very helpful.
Yeah, to everybody. No question.
Very, very helpful indeed.
Yeah, he's played in all the venues around London, all the venues right across the UK indeed as well.
He did indeed. He often taught me of places that I'd never heard of, and he'd say, "Oh, there'd be huge crowds. There'd be hundreds and hundreds going there," and I'd be thinking, "Wow, you know, they might be up the country, they might be around the Midlands, and you know, he's played all over really. He's just played all over, and he's done the Caribbean cruises as well, and Spain and Portugal. He's, you know, been there, done that. He's played in all of them, and he just loved to play music.
Yes,
you know." Yeah,
indeed. And one of the last people to actually record one of your songs was Seamus Moore.
That's right, indeed. Yeah, Seamus recorded "She Only Wants to Dance," which was not a true story. Now, it's a fictional one. That one about this crazy woman who wanted to dance around the floor with a sweeping brush.
Yes,
and that's all she wanted was just to have the crack and dance around the place. And she was based up around North Mayo, and she don't exist, by the way, but maybe she does.
Yes.
But Seamus put his own twist to it, and he did a great job. So Seamus is a great character, there's no doubt about it. And
indeed.
I met him in Lisdoon Farna a couple of years ago, and he was looking for songs, and I said, "Look, have a listen to one of those there. I don't know if that would suit you or not." And the following day, I met Seamus above in Lisdoon, and he said, "I'm going into the studio on Thursday to record that song." So and it's been getting a lot of airplay over here, a lot of coverage on the TV as well. So, thanks to Seamus for that. I really appreciate that.
Indeed, it is absolutely. So it is an absolutely cracking song. He put his own slant on it.
He did indeed. Yeah, he did. Indeed.
Yeah, you're off them, Peter. Have you done any Facebook Lives or anything like that since the lockdown?
I haven't really, to be honest. I haven't. But there's a few things that I was asked to do that didn't actually materialise. But hopefully, sometime in the future, it could be nice to do something just to keep in touch with people, because you know, I'd be on the phone talking to different people at the dances and different other musicians and so on, and you try and do what you can to keep in touch with people. I'm not on Facebook myself at the moment, but maybe I should be. But you know, we'd be thinking of the people around the country, the dancers, and you know, they're the listeners and the people who like to go to the concerts and so on, and they're missing the music as well as much as we're missing playing the music. They miss listening to the music, and you know, a lot of them would be dancing to the music, and they might, you know, but there's concert people as well who miss, they can't go out at the moment, and you know, we'd be thinking of them all the time. I mean, talking to fellow musicians, we'd be often saying, "I wonder how is that lady doing, or that man doing, or how are they getting on now? You know, those people, they were nice people. I hope they're doing okay." Blah blah blah. So you know, they're on our minds all the time, and they're the ones who have given us our living and our income before the COVID. So we're all suffering, I suppose, at the moment as a result of this, and you know, we just have to wait for this awful time to go. It's very, 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 very strange time. None of us expected this at all, and you know, it's tough enough, but it is what it is, and as long as people can stay healthy, it's most important, and we'll be back.
Indeed.
At some stage.
Indeed, that's exactly it. One of the things, Peter, which most artists mention to me is that one of the big things that they really miss is actually meeting the people.
Indeed, yeah. It's a social thing, really, for people to meet up and have the chat. And, you know, Irish people worldwide, we're known for our friendliness, I suppose, and the way we just love meeting people and talking to people. People we know, people we don't know, we yap away. And it's a thing, you know, a lot of people, I suppose, you know, if it's something that they look forward to every week, or when they hear of something happening in a few weeks' time, a gig happening, they look forward so much to going out. You know, it's a social outlet, really, and God knows what we do only for the radio and for the country music TVs and so on at the moment, because I don't know what people would do at all, and I don't know what I would do, to be honest, because the music is something I'm always listening to and tuned into, and it's my life, so I couldn't imagine life without music. So, I mean, even though there's no place to play at the moment, it's nice to switch on the radio and listen to music. And please God, people will meet up again, and it hopefully won't be too different to the way things were before last March.
Indeed. So, Peter, listen, it's been lovely to catch up with you. I wish you all the very best.
Thanks so much.
Listen, fingers crossed.
Thanks to you, Jerry, as well.
Real pleasure, Peter. And listen, as soon as it's safe to do so, I'm definitely looking forward to seeing you on a stage someplace along the way.
Well, with the help of God, that would be great. And hi to the lovely Carmel as well, Jerry. And just want to say to anybody over there in England, I know I have so many cousins over there, and a lot of them are my long-lost cousins that I haven't seen in such a long time. Just want to say hello to them all, and hopefully that they're tuning in at the moment. And here's the better times, isn't that what they say? Hopefully, please God, things will improve as we go along.